It's time to wake up, Australians. Please explain to me how we have allowed the country to get to this state. Okay, so, bit of education now. Some of you may not know the following, but here it is. Treason in this country started on the 2nd of February 1960, when the political parties took major control over the Governor-General and the Commander-in-Chief. Political parties do not actually exist within our Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901, which consists of a preamble, clauses 1 to 9, and a schedule. By doing this, the political parties actually removed our rights to life away. In 1962, the political parties went to war against South Vietnam with Royal Commonwealth Defence Forces. These forces are for the defence of the Commonwealth of Nations, not to stomp your feet around and command other countries how to live. Now here we have the following legislation, which I will put up on the screen. Note here that it says the Senate shall be composed of senators for each state directly chosen by the people. That's us. Not by political parties. Did you know even our money is unconstitutional? Have a look here where it says salary of Governor-General in pounds. Each senator and each member of the House of Representatives should be in pounds, payable to the Queen pounds, Minister of State pounds. The political parties in 1966 created the Australian dollar, counterfeit to the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901, counterfeit to our constitution. The political parties created their own private Australia and Commonwealth. What does this mean? This means that in 1973, when they changed the definitions without a referendum, that they no longer need to consolidate with the preamble or clauses 1 to 9. Under the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901, Parliament was actually subservient to the people. Yet, under private sovereign, independent and federal nation, the people are now subservient to Parliament. So for those who are not following, they have reversed the roles. Once upon a time, they were subservient to us. Now we are subservient to them. They have created their own country using the name Australia on paper, which doesn't match the original document that was implemented by our forefathers. The document includes the Governor-General of Australia, the Queen of Australia, the Government of Australia, our Australian Parliament, the Great Seal of Australia, etc. Treason! It's all treason. Australia is a republic right now. Do you realise this? No crown, no authority. Simple as that. Many of you probably aren't aware, but for the last 60 years, Australia has been operating under unconstitutional laws. This means every single legislation passed from 1960 to today has been unconstitutional, as none of it has gone under the Commonwealth of Australia Act 1901. It has been passed under some diluted version, some shit version of the original constitution. We essentially have a two-party treasonous system at play with our politics. You have the leftist Labor Party, which, doesn't disguise this fact, and then you have the conservative mainstream right-wing party, which is corrupt and pretends to be conservative when it really isn't. It was the Liberal Party that originally brought in abortion. This ruling is usually referred to as the Menhennet ruling by medical practitioners, or it is also known as R versus Davidson. In 1969, this was considered a huge win for female reproductive rights. Yet, it goes against the original Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901. As political parties stepped outside our constitution in 1960, we now know that life has been removed. Honourable. Essentially, what we have here is the Supreme Court decriminalising infanticide. This means personal responsibility has been taken away and therefore changing the whole entire consciousness of a new generation. By allowing abortion, we allow women to remove themselves from responsibility and we allow fathers to become less responsible and less manly. Men are weaker and women are stupider. And you all stood by and allowed it to happen due to your apathy. Part of the political party takeover is the disintegration of the family unit. It was 1985 where all states joined the status of the political parties Commonwealth of Australia as a sovereign, independent and federal nation. This act removed all states from our original constitution. Under our original constitution, we the people are a constitutional monarchy. This means that the new status has replaced the original Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act. No law has crown authority. Every legislation that has been passed has been unlawful. Then in 2017, almost 50 years later, the same Conservative Party that brought us abortion brings us a new definition to marriage. The postal vote that took place for same-sex marriage was entirely unconstitutional and actually opposes the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901. It's another way of circumventing our constitution. Yet you all allowed it to happen. Our constitution is not taught in schools. So your QCs, your lawyers, your barristers, your solicitors, the ADF, the police, they do not know it. They are operating blind. Now, not 3 years later, we are dealing with a new kind of issue, brought on by us, the people. By allowing so much to slide, we have placed ourselves in a position of utter subordinates to them. Do you know your silence is consent? You know that, right? This is known as tacit acquiescence. Lockdowns based on a virus that we should take precautions with. But the government overreach does not really match the issue.
What the f*** are you doing to me?
Well, yeah,
What have I done?
You just
Tell me what I've done. What have I done wrong?
You just kicked
No.
her in the stomach.
Yeah, but you're choking her. As a man on a girl, and you choked her. For what? For a mask? For not having a mask? Look how pathetic you are. She doesn't have a mask. Are you serious? Are you serious? Just for not having a mask? For no mask? Are you serious? You're pathetic. You are pathetic. You're
My home city of Melbourne is at its worst. It is Orwellian and it is being used as an example time and time again by different independent content creators and media outlets to give a detailed description of Venezuela or the USSR. The Dan Andrews government has restricted proximity and travel of up to 5 kilometers. This goes against our constitution. The Victorian Dan Andrews government has also placed a temporary restriction of time. So the curfew starts from 5 a.m. and ends at 8 p.m. So only one person can leave the house to do groceries and only one person can leave the house, I think, a day to go for a walk and do the things that they need to do, as long as it is within those time frames. One can only get exercise for 1 hour a day. Wow, you're all under house arrest, have fun. This goes against the Constitution, our Constitution. It is treason. And it is perfectly acceptable for the ADF or the police to enter your home if they deem it appropriate.
What are you doing in my house?
I have just explained to you.
What are you doing in my
I've
house?
just explained to you why we're here. You've got to talk to experience.
What, so you keep me darling?
Because you were talking to
No.
I've explained to you.
No, I told you why I wouldn't open the door is because of what is going round this virus now.
Right.
Fuck off
Right.
and get out of here.
What time's that?
Look at you. You might have it. Fucking do.
What time's that?
What else to do? You've put my fucking door through. I hope you're gonna fucking. What are you gonna fucking do to that? Oh, shut your fucking mouth, you fucking brain dead cunt. Get out. Fucking paid what, 20 grand a year to be a fucking knobby? Fuck off. Get out. Of my fucking house. Get the fuck out. What are you? Bye. Bye. Fucking idiots. Broke my fucking door. Look at the fucking state of this.
Ordinarily, this requires a warrant, but I mean, under state emergency? Anything goes. The law is ever changing. This goes against the Constitution. Once again, this is because in 1960, political parties have circumvented our Constitution and removed all living under their republic. Now, have a look through here. I'm showing you the law here that describes specifically why they are not allowed to have the government overreach level at which they have. So over here it says the provision of maternity allowances, widows, pensions, child endowment, unemployment, pharmaceutical, sickness and hospital benefits, medical and dental services, but not as to authorize any form of civil conscription. That term, civil conscription, means that they cannot mandate the public to wear masks. They cannot mandate the public to have a curfew. They cannot mandate the public to get vaccinated. This goes against the Constitution. This goes against the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901. Dan Andrews, you mismanaged the hotel quarantine system put in place nationally to monitor those entering the country and went against these guidelines that were successful in every other state. Dan Andrews, you foolishly permitted the unnecessary Black Lives Matter protests to take place, which demonstrated to the public you could break lockdown with no repercussions. Dan Andrews, every other state has been successful in their contact tracing strategy implementation, which in Victoria has failed from the beginning. Anyone saying this is necessary for the greater good, wake up. There is something bigger at play here. I don't know the specifics of what it is. I don't think any of us can really know exactly what it is, but your silence, your apathy, it is not helping the situation. Your city is going to get worse. Civil disobedience may be the trick, may be what we need to get things back on track. Things can only get worse before we can start to see a bit of better. But I am speaking to my own fellow Australians. The silent majority will not do anything. I'm pleading with you. Stand up, please, for what is left of your rights. If we end up in a state of civil disorder, people are going to get hurt.
But I can guess. With so much chaos, someone will do something stupid.
People will get hurt. People will get hurt. People will get hurt.
Things will
People
turn
will get
messy.
hurt.
Rioters were arrested in
Civil disobedience may be the trick, may be what we need to get things back on track, to get things back on track, to get things back on track, to get things back on track. Doctors constantly state, or once stated, that what we must do is build up our immunity, eat certain things with fiber and protein. No one's saying that now. If you isolate everyone, like say Jacinda Ardern has done in New Zealand, then it brings forth the argument of possessing a zero resistance to the virus. The exception is a possible T-cell immunity taken from 20 to 50% of the population. As stated by my friend Joel Jamal, imagine New Zealand opens up to Australia or wherever. Your country will be at a higher risk of experiencing a huge spike, which will ultimately exhaust your hospitals and staff. Most countries have implemented different sorts of measures, and only when we reach the end of this pandemic can we really begin with the most honest stats and figures to truly compare. Many of our basic rights have been tampered with, and Australians don't really seem to know or care. Well, I do hope you have found all of the following information helpful. I don't know if I have the bravery to stand up like I am pleading with you all to do, but the point is that our country will soon end up in breadlines like Venezuela. It'll end up under an authoritarian regime, and it is unconstitutional and unlawful to do so. Just remember, you do not need to abide by the lawful instruction of a police. They are an abstract entity. Look at this meme. We just follow orders that pedophiles, murderers, thieves, and rapists give to enforce their policies. Where are the guardians of the Constitution? The guardians were the High Court, the Supreme Court. But it doesn't matter, they were paid off. They were paid off to allow the current constitution that we have, which is a diluted nothing. So everyone, just be wary of what is happening around us, because things will get worse if we do not fight back. All of the relevant links and everything will be in the description box below. Thank you to Dick Yardley for assisting me with the constitutional element of this video. God bless you all, and please stay safe and healthy.